in store. But this is the time where our entire research team comes together to give you the list of top 10 stocks that you need to look out for today. Lata, first up on SBI.
Well, the big story, of course, is that now SBI is the lowest lender in the Indian markets at 9.7%. Yesterday there was a further 15 basis point base rate cut. And, it is, a base rate cut will impact the bank like a fall in, say, Maruti's car prices or Tata Steel's steel prices. It's going to be a margin impacting move because your product price has been lowered. But it appears that, SBI should be able to make up the loss in margins through a rise in volume, which inevitably a fall in price should bring. For one thing, they have another buffer. SBI has about 29% of its deposits lying in government securities, and the asking rate is only 21.5. That is the SLR rule. So they have enough money which they can shift from G-Secs to lending as loans. And G-Secs always give you the lowest return. I mean, what is the G-Sec return? 7.65. Any loan will give you at least 10%, base rate, 9.7 at least. So what Pradeep Kumar and Mrs. Bhattacharya tell us is that they are going to transfer more money from the G-Secs which are low yielding into loans, and therefore it will not be margin impacting. In any case, more and more of SBI's deposits, like for every other bank, are now getting repriced. They have been cutting their deposit rates all the way from last September. So more and more of the new deposits are going to be less expensive for the bank, and therefore it's not going to be margin impacting. And they're very confident that with their new rates, they will be way more competitive in the retail market. They're expecting an 18% growth in retail loans, and their old guidance for overall loan growth stands at 12 to 14%. So my sense is today SBI, if there is a positive bump up in the markets, could be leading that bump up.
And should we expect a lot of other bigger banks to pass through?
I wouldn't be surprised if ICICI followed. Yesterday we already had smaller banks like Allahabad Bank, Dena Bank and Punjab Sind Bank. My sense is just about everyone will follow suit. I mean, when the leader has cut, you have less fear. And most of them in any case are way higher than SBI in their base rate. SBI already among PSU banks is the lowest base rate. Even the deposit rates are the lowest. I mean, that's the mark of the leader.
All right, so SBI will be in focus today. It was down almost 4.5% yesterday. Agam also joins in. Once again, he's watching Nestle this morning. Agam, tell us more.
So, in terms of Nestle, those are the handful of stocks which was in the green yesterday. And, but I think that relief is going to be short-lived, given the fact that, we've had some observations coming in from the Food and Safety Department. And once again, they made some observations which are disappointing, perhaps, or which will be disappointing in Nestle. So, only 1 out of 13 examples have been found to be genuine. 10 out of 13 samples have seen lead which is beyond prescribed limits, and moreover 5 of these samples also did not have any declaration of MSG, because of which the government is most likely to take strict action on the company after the final report. And a case will also be initiated into selling unsafe products and fine as well for misbranding. So we could see a little more of an impact coming into Nestle given that we have these facts coming.
How much is the contribution of Maggi to the overall? I mean, after all, Nestle has a whole host of other products as well.
I do not have the exact figure, but it is significant.
What is very surprising is that even yesterday, after the observations came from a Delhi FDA, there was Goa FDA which came up with the report, and they gave a clean chit to Nestle. So it's very surprising, what is happening. So as the observations were totally different from Delhi FDA, Food and Department, and from Goa, where there was a complete clean chit which was
Probably
given.
their samples are not uniform.
I don't know. Maybe we should eat Maggi only in Goa.
Okay, that's a good one. But the stock in any case has not responded at all on the downside. I mean, if you look at the way the stock has moved, even in the last 1 month since this news broke out, it's been so very resilient at around that 6,800 mark. But let's go across to Nigel and find out more about Coal India and why he's watching that one this morning. Nigel.
Sonia, the big overhang really could be back for Coal India. We've been hearing a lot of positive sounds in terms of what's happening with Coal India, production, rakes, etc. But now it appears that the divestment overhang could come back to plague the stock in the months to come, if not today itself. That's because Coal and Power Minister Piyush Goyal says that they're open to divesting further stake in Coal India. They're looking to bring it down to 75%, though he says the timelines, that really he's not going to decide, but that's up to the Finance Minister to decide on the timelines. Remember, the stake has been brought down to around 80%, so 5%, that's bringing it down to 75%, will amount to around 11,200 crores. So among all the positives, maybe this is a bit of overhang on the stock because they will sell close to around 5%. Timeline is something that we'll be waiting by for.
All right. Not good news, of course, for Coal India investors. Sonia, you watching Tata Motors?
Yes, they released their JLR sales for the month of May just in the US region, and this is a big region for them because it contributes more than 30% to their overall JLR revenues. The sales were good. So total sales went up by 13%. Land Rover sales went up by almost about 20-odd%. This is only in the North America region. Jaguar sales, however, were slightly under pressure, down about 8-odd%. But year to date in 2015, the JLR sales have been very healthy, up almost about 17-odd%. And this is because some of their products like the Range Rover Sport is doing very well, and even the Discovery Sport, which is just launched, in the first full month of its sales, it sold about 440 units. So business is still good.
All right, that's positive. Ekta, Natco Pharma?
Yes, that's in focus because we do understand that the Indian Patent Office has refused a patent on the US firm Abraxis Biosciences drug. The patent is refused on an anti-cancer drug which is called Abraxane. Now, this paves the way for the generic companies to basically launch a generic version in the domestic market of this particular drug. Now, the US company, which is basically Abraxis Biosciences, had filed a patent for the drug formulation in 2006, which was then opposed by Natco Pharma, and Abraxis does have the option of basically appealing in the intellectual property appellate board. So I think it paves the way for Natco to launch it comfortably. We haven't heard from the management though in terms of whether or not they will launch it.
So positive for Natco.
It is positive.
All right, Sonia, Oberoi Realty raising money?
Yes, that's what we hear from what's coming in terms of the news flow. So the board has approved raising up to 1,500 crores via non-convertible debentures, and they will be raising some more money in the due course of time. They also are looking to raise up to 750 crores via shares and convertible securities.
Oh, so that might be EPS dilutive. It is,
no, but there's no timeline for this. It's just an approval, overall
it's
approval.
It's just an approval that has come through. So we don't know, when they will raise it, what the dilution, etc.
Okay, all right. So minor impact. I think the big impact really is going to be Adani. I mean, we've been speaking about Adani Enterprises scheme of arrangement and the split of that stock into 4 companies. Pragya, tell us, effective today?
Well, absolutely, Lata, and because, the focus of the link is purely on Adani Enterprises, so I won't go into, what happens to the other businesses. Remember, the scheme was announced way back in January 2015, along with the company's Q3 results. Now, as we've been covering, up until now, the stock is already corrected from the levels of about 700 odd plus down to about 638. So, you could see a further correction today, given the fact that the restructuring will be effective today. Now, for Adani Enterprises shareholders, apart from the fact that they will be entitled to 3 other businesses of the company in the ports, power and transmission business, what will be left in the core Adani Enterprises company will be the coal trading business of the company, the coal mining, and remember, this is the very lucrative mining cum development of operations, for all of these coal block auctions, which could be a big trigger in the stock price. Agri and agri logistics, which would include the branded edible oil segment of the company, and the city gas distribution. For Adani Enterprises, of course, this is good because, they have a much cleaner and a leaner balance sheet. The whole holding company discount, which was, the company, which is plaguing down the stock up until now, there was a massive debt of 70,000 odd crores. So all of that goes away, and the company can look at, focusing solely on all of these core businesses. Now, of course, there will be a stock correction today. Like I said, the stock price is now roughly about 640 odd rupees. As per Morgan Stanley, and I just want to caveat that, the mining business could attribute, they're attributing a value of 8 rupees per share to that. There are upsides to this because of the fact that, this business is the mining cum development operation. So in future, analysts could be prescribing a lot more value to this. So almost up to about 23 rupees per share is what shareholders could look at. Trading business, we're looking at about 56 odd rupees. Agro and city gas distribution is the X factor, so about 4 to 16 rupees could be attributed to that. So all in all, today, Adani Enterprises, the share price price that we are looking at could be in the range of 80 to 95 odd rupees. Anything over that would be, something that the premium that the street gives in terms of the value unlocking that we're seeing in this particular stock.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Watch that stock today.